Good afternoon. My name is Barbara Fuller, and as Chair of the Board, I welcome you to this February 18th, 2025 regular meeting of the Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners. Our office coordinator, Aaron Smith, will describe how our meetings operate, how to access the agenda packet, and how people may participate remotely. Aaron.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. There are multiple ways to make public comment during today's board meeting, whether you're joining us in person or virtually. If you're here in person and would like to make comment, please fill out the sign-in sheet now. If you're joining us virtually, we will ask you to raise your hand at the appropriate time in the agenda. If you're joining us virtually and are experiencing technical issues with audio or video during the meeting, submit a comment in the chat feature and our communications manager will help you troubleshoot. If you would like closed captioning during this meeting, you will have to manually change your settings. Click on the captions button and select show captions. The audio and video of this meeting is being recorded, and a link to the recording will be posted to our website in the next few days. And then there are printed copies of today's meeting agenda on the table near the front door as you walked in. And now I'll turn it back over to Chair Fuller.
Thanks, Aaron. I now call this February 18th, 2025 regular meeting to order and ask Aaron to call the roll.
Chair Barb Fuller.
Present.
Our Vice Chair Rod Green is absent today. He is attending the CRA New Commissioners Workshop. Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Present.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Present.
And Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Present.
And then the following directors are in attendance: Managing Director Matt Washtenaw, our Assistant Director of Engineering Aaron Burkholz, our Director of Operations Adam Lape, and Director of Finance Dan Ackerman.
Thanks, Aaron. I now invite all of you to join us in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Support. Any additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none, Aaron, please.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the agenda is approved as presented. Next, we have two sets of minutes to accept today. May I have a motion to accept the board meeting minutes of February 4th, 2025? They appear on pages 3 through 10 of the packet.
So moved.
Support. Additions, deletions, or corrections? Seeing none. Aaron?
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the February 4th minutes are accepted as presented. Next, may I have a motion to accept the closed session minutes of February 4th, 2025 as presented. The minutes have been distributed to the commissioners at their desks.
So move.
Support. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to those closed session minutes? Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
And Commissioner Barb Fuller.
Yes, the closed session minutes of February 4th are accepted as presented. Next, we have time set aside for report from our County Commissioner Liaison, Commissioner Caroline Sanders of District 4. Good afternoon, Caroline.
Good afternoon. Nothing sexy or exciting. We have a regularly scheduled Commissioners Board meeting tomorrow, beginning at 5:30 with the working session and then the general meeting at 7 p.m. As always, people are invited to join us in person, online, or they can submit inquiries or questions by email as well. That's all I have for you. I've enjoyed my snow days. I've prayed for you all and your staff out there on the road, but I've been pretty giddy about it in my house. So be safe.
Thank you, Commissioner. Next on the agenda is public comment. This is the time set aside on the agenda to receive comments from the public. This is not intended to be a period for dialogue. Each person will be allotted 3 minutes to address the board, and Aaron will explain how people may be recognized to offer comments.
Thanks, Chair Fuller. Since this is a hybrid meeting with both in-person and virtual attendees, we will take turns between those attending in person and virtually. For our in-person attendees, we will start with those who signed up on the sign-in sheet as you walked in. If you didn't sign in, you're still welcome to make comment. We'll notify you when it is your turn.
Has anyone signed in to make comment today? And if you haven't signed in but are here, would you like to comment anyway?
No, Madam Chair.
All right. Last call. No? Okay. We will move on to written communications appearing on pages 11 through 19 of the packet. Commissioners, anything you wish to draw our attention to? Find it out, ladies.
Yeah, I wanna-
Commissioner Yamas.
Number one, I want to thank all of the staff for their hard work and dedication keeping the roads cleared and clearing the roads during this storm. I kept them in mind as I knew some of them were working 24 hours, if not all of them, and the continued clearing of the roads. I'd also like to recognize on the written communications, recognize the thank you from St. Andrew's Catholic School with lovely drawings from all the children, thanking the road commission for keeping the roads safe. It's so sweet. And a thank you from Sarah Gier of Celine, also for keeping the roads clear. Great job.
Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair, I would like to thank the staff for the under procurement on page 12. Invite to bid, request for proposal, RFP, Construction Engineering Design Services, 2025 to 2027. And looking at that, it was a very detailed, informational. And even though it was very detailed, it was still easy to understand. And I just really I don't know who put that together, but that was put together very professionally. And very proud to say that our road commission did something so wonderful like that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Smers, anything? No? Okay. We will move on then to the new business, the consent agenda. Since there was no public comment, we don't need to respond to it. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items 1 through 6? The motions are on pages 21 through 23, background on pages 24 through 36.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions about any of the items? Commissioners, anything you want to have clarification provided? Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas,
Yes.
Commissioner Joya McCollum,
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smers.
Yes.
Commissioner Burt Fuller.
Yes, the consent agenda is approved as presented. There are no action items for our attention today. We will move on to the report of the road commissioners, beginning with Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Madam Chair. On February 7th, I attended the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners working session priority retreat at the Blackbird Lodge, which is also where the Stabler Farm is in Michigan Folk School, which I love going to that building. It's really awesome. And it was an awesome retreat. And also on February 10th, I met with Gretchen Driscoll, who is the Water Resources Commissioner. And I met with her in regards to just letting her know what I've been doing on the Road Commission and Parks and Rec, and we had a really good meeting. On February 11th, I attended the Washtenaw County Board of Commissioners working session virtually. And also on February 11th, I attended the pipeline safety meeting, which was held at the Kensington Hotel. The meeting was about local pipeline and gas distribution operators with their local emergency and public officials. They also touched on digging and who to call before you dig. And it's just awesome to learn all of the different moving parts when you want to dig any area, excavate any area, whether it's road commissions or anywhere. There's so many moving parts there. You have to be so careful to make sure that everything is on par And Washtenaw County is always doing a great job with that. I also reviewed 33 Impress Awards, and I chose 3 to present at the 2025 Highway Conference and Road Commission Communication Track. The 3 I picked were from our collaboration category, Oceana, Shelby School Zone Signing and Flashers. And the reason why I picked it, it was just a great collaboration of how they changed where they were starting the road to lower the speed limit for safety. So on one end of the road, if they had started on that end, the speed limit would have had to stay a higher speed limit than they would prefer for being around a school. So they decided to start at the other end of the road. That end of the road, then they could have the lower speed limit and create a safer environment for the students, which I thought that was really thinking there. Also with the other one I chose was communication. That's a category, and that was from Mason. And what they did, they had a ride along, and they had all of their township officials. They got a bus and had them in a bus and took them all around the area to look at different projects and things like that. So I just thought that was pretty neat to do that. It must have been a very interesting ride on the bus and looking at different things. Another great idea was Berry area. They are doing the foam injection stabilization. And, you know, I'm not an expert on that, so I can't really go into that, but it just looks so interesting. I always wanted to see something like that. They had pictures, and instead of, they're just trying to find a cost-effective way to patch the road. And they had different diagrams on it and how the foam goes in and where it goes. And I just thought that was very interesting. So that's why I chose them for operational. And I also attended the Parks and Rec meeting. I really didn't have anything to report on that. There wasn't really any border to border work that was being done that included the road commission. I do enjoy those meetings and learning about our wonderful parks in Washtenaw County. That ends my report. Thank you.
Commissioner Yamas.
On 2/14, I viewed the virtual road surfacing countywide report to the public. It was well attended, which is great to see. It was a great presentation by Kevin Dubrick and Mr. Harris, and clarifications on what was said by Aaron Burkholz. And hopefully I didn't forget anybody, but I really appreciated
Felix,
it.
you
Was
forgot
Felix. Oh, yes, Felix also. So I did enjoy that presentation. Thank you.
Commissioner Smers.
February 5th, I was assigned to chat. There was no participants. That concludes my report.
All right. I will report that on February 12th, I attended the weekly chat session. We had one visitor. It was Anna Longoria. She is a reporter for WEMU. She interviewed us about preparations for the anticipated snow event. The interview was going to be aired that afternoon on All Things Considered, and on Thursday morning, the morning edition. Adam Late did a great job of answering all of Anna's questions, and it was a very nice exchange that went on for probably 20 minutes. So nice job, Adam. On February 14th, I attended, as did Commissioner Yamas, the 2025 Washtenaw County Road Commission resurfacing online presentation. It was a lot of material to cover. They did a fine job with maps and explanations and answering of questions that turned out to be very specific from people who had tuned in on that particular online presentation. And then yesterday, I attended the online meeting of the Washtenaw County Township Supervisors. That's convened periodically. This year, it's by the supervisor of Ann Arbor Township, Diane O'Connell, who does a really nice job. We were visited by Congresswoman Dingell. Lots of questions, as you won't be surprised, about the status of the federal government. And then Matt McDonald did a very nice presentation, which was condensed, if that's a fair characterization, due to the amount of time spent speaking with the Congresswoman. Matt did a presentation on the road commission's activities. And that concludes my report. We will move on to staff reports and updates. The staff reports appear on pages 37 through 44. Turn it over to Matt to take the ball on this.
Thank you, Chair Fuller. Any questions on the reports contained in the board packet?
Commissioner McCollum.
Right.
It's not in the board packet, but
Oh, that's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're out of order. Never mind, pass. Go ahead, Joanne.
when I was at the meeting for the pipelines and digging and excavating, it was a question that the facilitator asked that none of us were aware of, or maybe I just slacked in that area. But he asked, what color flag do you use when you dig? And I couldn't think of what color it was. He said there's white. Do we put down white flags when we dig?
So typically it's for the markings and they have assigned colors for telecommunications is orange, typically water is blue. So we have storm sewer and we also have our handholds for our signal work. I don't know what color they use. You got me on this one.
He got me on that. I didn't get a prize, whoever guessed
typically,
it got a prize.
Jeff?
Ah,
Hers might.
Here we go.
The state recommends white lining everything with white. stripe.
Okay.
There you go.
okay.
Your projected area of digging, they would like you to see it white lined, and then after that, as Matt said, each type of utility has its own color. So white lining is generally for the contractor or homeowner
Okay.
that's going to do the digging.
Wow.
Once upon a time, I saw a little key. There were like 7 different colors and each
Mhm.
one was a specific purpose or
Yes,
They pass them
And-
out a lot of job fairs.
yep.
Lot of
bring
job
us one
fairs.
the next time.
I
Well,
know,
also-
yeah.
So we'll, when we submit our tickets, it's electronic, and generally we're giving a range inside of the road. So I don't know how often we're marking our specific dig line, but oftentimes it's a description and location of where we're going to dig.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a very intricate process, the misdig process. And you're responsible for, if you're close proximity to hand dig and also making sure that everything gets identified. And sometimes that is a time constraint too, because especially during the busy construction season, they get a little behind. So it's important to get your misdigs in early.
Good question,
Right.
Joanne.
No, it's great that you're seeking out those opportunities to learn more about the industry. So thank you. What I did want to mention, there's a couple of things, longer list than usual. But I wanted to make you aware, tomorrow, Wednesday, we have a stakeholder meeting for the Water Resource Commissioner's Office is presenting their findings on the Buyer Drain. That is a meeting at the Civic Center in Ypsilanti Township Hall at 1 p.m. That is a prelude. Basically, we're getting a preview of what's going to be talked about at the public meeting. So the public meeting, same location, that's going to be on the 25th, Tuesday, the 25th, that night. There'll be a public meeting for that as well. So we're obviously a big stakeholder in that, but this is a study that was requested by the township via petition, and then the Water Resources Commissioner essentially move that project ahead. So it's just a study where they'll start to make recommendations, and we'll see where things go.
And the name of the project again, please?
This Buyer Relief Drain. I believe it's also Ypsilanti #1 as well. So
Ypsilanti what?
#1, drain
Ah,
#1.
Okay,
Ypsilanti Township Drain #1 in Buyer Relief.
all right.
Yep. Also exciting news, the annual report is here. You should have all received a copy. Tiffany Oliphant did a beautiful job of assembling these pictures, and then in the middle is also our millage update. So this gets mailed to all of our elected officials. That should go in the mail today, and you should get your copy in the mailbox. So just an update there. Also, the local road funding packets will be emailed out to our townships the end of this week. So that will be going out for folks to look at, and it's very good timing because we have our Roads 101 meeting coming up on next week, Thursday, the 27th at 10 a.m. It'll be in the boardroom. It'll be a hybrid meeting whereby we're going to be talking about that local road packet and introducing the road commission to some of our newly elected officials. So the invite list would be any of our township supervisors, clerks, or treasurers. They're all welcome, but we're really hoping we get those newly elected folks because they are an important partner in funding for local roads. So that should be coming out, or that should be a successful event. We're already getting some RSVPs, and we'll get a final reminder out here on Monday. So, and those that are attending in person are welcome to stay for lunch. So the presentation will be from 10 to noon, and then lunch to follow after that in the assembly room.
Just a question on the local road packet. This is in preparation for the annual agreement discussions.
Yes, so those discussions certainly are underway. The foreman and superintendents are working with the supervisors, generally are the point folks, or if the township's got road committees, we're working with them as well and generating estimates. But ultimately, yes, that local road funding packet is it's updated for all the new information, updated maps, things that they've done last year are now incorporated into past projects. So good wealth of information that will continue to go over with the townships as we work towards the agreements.
And are those packets available online if anyone's interested?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna be sending them a link to our website.
Right.
And each of our township websites
Mhm.
will have that package right at the top. You can
Right.
click on that link. So that'll go out by the end of the week. Any other questions? All right, that's all I had. Let's bring up Mr. Burkholz for the engineering report. We had some extra time this morning, so what more do you have to?
I've got a few things.
All right, very good.
Good
We
afternoon,
can
Aaron.
always count on you, Aaron.
Thank you. Aaron Burkholz, Assistant Director of Engineering for the Road Commission. So I appreciate the time this afternoon. First of all, active road construction update. So right now, we do have some, despite the weather that we've experienced recently, there is some active road construction going on. The Ann Arbor Saline traffic signal upgrades are going on. And that's been funded through a congestion mitigation air quality. We refer to it as a CMAQ grant. It's at multiple intersections. I don't want to list all of them because there's several of them. But really, as those traffic signal improvements are made, there's little or no motorist impacts associated with that work. Really, it's them working out of the bucket, the contractor working overhead. So traffic really doesn't seem any kind of significant impact as they travel here and there. Workner Road and Old US 12. So both of these roads received a safety grant. It's called the High Risk Rural Roads Safety Grant, HRRR. So we just recently worked with our contractor to complete the permanent sign upgrades. And again, that's something that Michelle Ford talked about this morning at the working session, how sign improvements, sign replacements can enhance the safety of a corridor. The other thing that we're going to be undertaking here in the spring is the application of a high friction surface treatment. Again, something else that Michelle mentioned at this morning's board working session. And there's actually 6 curve locations along Island Lake, Workner Road, and along Old US 12 where the high friction surface will be applied, again, as a measure of safety to try to keep the vehicles on the road. And the contractor out at the Park Road and Stabler Road intersection improvement, they have made valiant attempts at continuing their work. But the reality is with temperatures like we have now, you have equipment issues. You have material freezing and you can't compact frozen material. And you just have labor issues because it's very difficult to work in these type of conditions. So they are trying to continue that work during the winter with limited success. Advertisements and bids. So last week we did advertise the 2025 countywide hot mix asphalt contract. That includes a variety of road resurfacing segments that are being funded through the millage and through the road commission budget, through Michigan Transportation Funding. So again, that's out for advertisement right now. Bids for that will be opened at the end of this month. February 28th, we'll be opening bids for that. The 2025 countywide guardrail contract has also been advertised. That advertisement went out just today. Again, that's countywide, so there are a variety of locations where there are guardrail installations or guardrail upgrades that'll be needed. And then Tyler Road in Ypsilanti Township, the bridge and dam repairs. The bids were open for that on January 31st. We appreciate the support of the board today in approving the contract under consent items with Erie Construction. The pre-construction meeting is being scheduled for next week. And what we've indicated to the contractor is that they can start no earlier than March 3rd, and that it has to be open to traffic by May 30th. So that's the Friday before Memorial Day. And so the intention would be that we want them to work during a time of year when the weather supports that work. I mentioned things like frozen materials, equipment-related issues. The contractor really, they're going to give us a schedule, but a big part of that schedule is going to be dictated by the weather. The other thing that they probably will need to consider is seasonal springtime weight restrictions. At some point, that's going to come into play, so that may be something else that influences the schedule and the pace of that work. But our intention is to complete those bridge and dam repairs this spring and to get that road reopened. So staff are finalizing bid documents for 2025 projects, and they're well underway with 2026 design. And just a couple of projects that I'll mention here, the Sharon Valley Road Bridge in Sharon Township. Working with our consultant, we've submitted the Eagle permit application for that project. That includes not only the construction of the new bridge, but the relocation of a roadside ditch. The environment, Great Lakes and Energy here in recent past has held road agencies to some considerable constraints when they identify a roadside ditch as a stream. And we have a roadside ditch out there that they have indicated they feel is a stream. And so we have to go through a process through that Eagle application for stream remediation. So we're continuing to work with our consultant and with Eagle to be able to secure that permit. The intention is to bid that project through MDOT this summer, and then work out there could start as early as this fall, or it could carry over into 2026. Again, that bridge project, we will host a public information meeting for it. In order to construct the new bridge, we do need to clear some trees to both realign the road and to construct the new bridge. Quite a challenging project there on Sharon Valley.
Bert, Aaron, I know that we're also planning to do a working session on this project, because there's gonna be a significant budget as part of the budget process as well. So we'll need to talk about that. But thank you for the update.
Sure, of course.
Have you chosen a date for the public information session, or will you be waiting on the permit from Eagle?
We'd really like to secure the permit from Eagle
Okay.
before that. That's going to dictate a good part of our schedule.
Okay.
I think we're targeting March for the working session with the board.
And then what's the projected closure for that bridge
Uh,
on that road segment?
yeah, as far as duration,
Mm-hmm.
I would say, again, if they decide to work over the course of the winter, which is not unheard of with bridge construction, you can do that work during the winter. You're probably looking at about a 3-month closure, I would guess. Yeah,
Including winter month?
that would include winter months and including if Mother Nature is kind or unkind to the contractor.
Got it. Okay.
Madam Chair.
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner McCollum.
Yes, Aaron, could you clarify something for me? The roadside, it was a ditch and they want to name it a stream?
It is, it's about perspective. So as a road builder, when I look at it, I see a roadside ditch, but there is a constant flow of water in this particular ditch because it's fed by an artesian condition. So when Eagle looks at it, they see a stream because it's a constant flow of water. They say a ditch is more so an infrequent flow of water during storm events, but if you have a constant flow of water in a ditch, really that falls into more of a category as a stream. So it's really just a difference in perspective on how to designate that, again, what I refer to as a roadside ditch.
Does it affect our work in that area? Or-
What it affects is, again, as we would work on the bridge and the road to straighten out part of the alignment out there, because the road's on a very difficult alignment, quite a challenge. We would have to relocate that ditch. And so as you relocate a ditch that's been deemed as a stream by Eagle, you have to go through a permit process related to stream remediation. They're saying you're taking an existing stream and you're moving it somewhere else. You have to remediate that impact. So
It's not unlike wetland mitigation. So oftentimes our ditches get flagged as a wetland as well. So we have to then do wetland mitigation if we impact that ditch. So, or wetland.
Sorry.
So, yeah, no, I understand.
it's challenged.
Better to laugh than cry.
Thank you.
There may be some of both.
Yes, I would agree with.
Of course. I did, just before the meeting, Michelle Ford, our senior project manager for traffic and safety, let me know that we received an announcement this morning from SEMCOG that we received $3.3 million through the carbon reduction program. And that's for 3 locations that relate to traffic signal modernization projects. And then 1 location would be a roundabout. That's at North Territorial Road and Curtis Road. We received a grant of $1.4 million, again, through carbon reduction to build a roundabout there. So that's exciting news.
Very exciting news. We
Yeah.
can include that correspondence in the next board packet, so you can see that. Obviously, the federal funds are predicated on them reauthorizing the highway bill. But oftentimes what they'll do, SEMCOG recognizes funds are typically programmed way ahead of the reauthorization. And as to allow for us to do the planning work and to design these things. And then once the design's complete, and then we submit for that obligation of federal funds, we would assume that everything gets reauthorized. So all that is a caveat in that correspondence of the federal authorization being there. So stay tuned. As we know, things in DC there's a lot of changing going on. Hopefully the transportation funding, which has been very steady over the course of my career over the last 20 years, I'm hopeful that that will continue regardless of who's in office. So we'll see. Stay tuned.
I just wanted to express my thanks to Human Resources, to Nicole and Alicia. We've been able to hire 3 engineering interns for the upcoming construction season. Roshan is coming from Purdue, Joe is coming from Michigan State, and Joshua is coming from Eastern Michigan. So we'll be happy to have them on board with
Another
our
Josh.
team. Yes, another Josh. Yes, it gets quite confusing as we hire more
There's a limit
Joshes.
on those.
I don't know.
They're pretty good.
What was
so.
Purdue? Who else?
Purdue, Michigan State, and EMU. Yeah. And also, we've been able to hire a new project manager in our permits section that'll work for Gary Strait. Beth Taylor will start on Monday, on February 24th. And again, I really appreciate all of Human Resources' work to bring us these great candidates. One last thing I'll mention, because Joanne brought it up. So Miss Dig Colors, So on our side of things, if it's our surveyor, John Miles, or myself, for instance, doing any marking in the field with spray paint, we always use pink because none of the utilities use pink. I've seen contractors use orange and it gets very confusing because telecommunications use orange. And then you end up with employees who aren't sure whether it's a phone line or someone trying to mark something about layout. So we stick with pink. So anyway,
Thank you, Aaron.
But
Yeah.
that's pink, that's not a flag.
no, it's pink paint. So we mark everything on the ground, anything that's gonna be removed or replaced, we're marking it with pink. So, yeah,
Thanks, Aaron.
anyway, yeah. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great job. Mr. Ackerman, for our finance report.
Good afternoon, Board. Dan Ackerman, Director of Finance. I'd just like to cover a few things. We are in the process of wrapping up our 2024 annual financial audit with Plant Moran. That's going well. There has been a lot of back and forth with them the last couple of weeks, but getting closer to the finish line. If you recall, as a component unit of Washtenaw County, they need our numbers for their financial report. And we have a verbal agreement that we would provide that information to them no later than March 1st. And happy to report that we are definitely on track for that. So that's, again, we are one of the earliest they're audited in the entire state of Michigan as far as road commissions. So very challenging to get all of our information in order, but we've been doing it for a number of years and have had a good relationship with the county as far as providing that information and meeting all of our deadlines. Also, Plant Moran has confirmed that they will be able to attend the working session on April 15th. That'll be one of my favorite working sessions because we'll talk about our 2024 numbers as well as the first quarter 2025 budget, any adjustments and so on. So it'll be a really important financial meeting. Besides that, we finalized the 2024 Affordable Care Act tax forms, which basically when you do your taxes, it's literally checking a box that says, yes, my employer provides me with health insurance. So you think it'd be a pretty simple report, but it's a very heavy lift, in my opinion. But obviously we are required to do so. So that's going out in the mail and our employees should receive in about 5 to 10 days. And again, that's information that they're supposed to just keep with their taxes in case they are audited and the IRS were to say, you know, well, show us proof that your employer provided you health insurance for the year, they would have the form from us. So always nice when we can get that out in the mail because it's pretty taxing. So glad that's done. We're also working on the 2024 OPEB valuation. OPEB is other post-employment benefits. The Governmental Accounting Standards Board requires a full-blown OPEB valuation every 2 years. So the last one that we had was in 2022. So that is not including pension. So it's anything health insurance, life insurance, and so on. So we are lots of big spreadsheets that we're updating as far as census information. Probably by the summertime, we'll have the report and certainly we'll share with the board the findings. But again, this is a requirement that we have to do every 2 years. And also I continue to monitor the estimates for Michigan transportation funds. The state of Michigan provides these estimates every year. It's actually the Office of Revenue and Tax Analysis at the state of Michigan. We use that as a basis for our budgeting for Michigan transportation funds. Usually it'll consist of 3 years, so they would have estimated Michigan transportation funds for 25, 26, and 27. We just use it as a guideline. We don't necessarily go by those numbers. As I looked last year, they provided it February 7th, so hopefully we'll get it sooner rather than later. Definitely, hopefully before our first quarter budget discussions, if we want to make any changes. But again, I think that provides a good guide as far as us for budgeting. And I'll be curious with what the trends we've been seeing, if their estimates are a little bit lower than they were the previous time. So only time will tell, and maybe they know more than I do, but you know, as we shared, the Michigan Transportation Funds aren't necessarily going up what necessarily we thought or what some of their estimates were. So I'll be very curious to see on that. And certainly we've discussed at length, it'd be nice if we could get more estimates like this from the state of Michigan, should things change, or I think it'd be nice on a quarterly basis to provide updates. And I know we engage CRA as a possible change, or at least to reach out to the state to see if they can provide this information more frequently. So, and that's all I have unless there's any questions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
I'm sorry, when do we do our next actuarial study?
For,
Pension,
Us?
for pension?
Yeah.
We
well,
just
it's
did
each
one.
year. Every year.
Every year? is-
Every year there's
okay,
one
I
for our
didn't think it was
pension.
Every year, okay.
But it's usually, so we receive the 2024 MERS actuary probably this summer as well. So maybe we could even look at our OPEB and our MERS actuary, but that's something we're required to have every year.
Okay. I
Yes.
thought it was,
It's just delayed, like the fiscal year 24, we won't get until halfway through 25.
Right.
okay.
So our
okay.
financial audits will refer to the 2023 pension numbers, because that's the most recent report we have to work with.
Okay.
The good news is we're past the 60% thresholds, so we should get a attaboy on our audit, right?
We will see, yes, we will see, but you know, we're moving in the right direction.
We
Some of
are.
it depends on the markets, and you know, there's a lot of factors there. You know, the life expectancy tables kind of continue to move out, which is good, but then that creates more of a burden on the road commission potentially, so, but we shall see.
Okay.
And what about the marijuana revenue? Have we already seen that reflected?
That was in the December
December.
Michigan Transportation.
Yeah,
Funds,
we were at
and-
4.1 million.
Right, that was our largest that we've seen, so,
Got it.
which is great. Okay,
Yeah. Thank
All right, thanks, Dan.
yep, thank you.
All right, Adam. Update on how busy our crews have been over the last few days.
Yes,
He
slightly.
wasn't doing anything. He's not even busy.
Yeah.
He's out of
Pulling
truck.
pulling my hair out. Adam Lee, Director of Operations. Thanks for having me up this afternoon. Yeah, operations been a little busy with the weather that started essentially Wednesday evening, afternoon last week. So about 70 hours or so. There's a little bit of variation there, but kind of dedicated to snow and ice of some type, whether it be maintaining equipment, here working regular hours or overtime hours over the past 6 or 7 days though. So pretty busy. We're starting to catch up towards the end of it here. So as you know, we kind of got a little bit of icing up front, then basically snow, and then wind started coming with a little bit of more frigid temperatures. And so we really just been trying to police the wind on the roads here lately. So we're pretty close to that. I'm pretty confident we're gonna be done with that stuff today. And had to go out and check a few more things, but the wind, kind of our lingo is laying down, which really what that means is just the wind's kind of settling down a little bit. So that wind speed goes away, gives us a little more opportunity to actually set these drifts areas that we're getting, kind of set them back off the road. And hopefully get things cleared up and some abrasive put on mainly the unpaved road system, to try to give some opportunity for quite a bit of schools that are probably gonna go back to school tomorrow. We had mid-winter break there, so we kind of bought a few days where we didn't have school buses trying to get through. So we're gonna take advantage of that and try to have those set up for tomorrow morning. So been a couple days, but everybody's doing good. Equipment did pretty good. All trying to make efforts to keep the roads as dry as long as we can and also conserve salt. So we use a lot of mixed materials, so a combination of sand, abrasive stones that we use, some salt, and then our liquid brine that we use as well, which is that salt, calcium, magnesium.
Commissioner McCollum?
Yeah, I was just noticing the amount of salt used, and I mean, this doesn't seem like we have tons of snow, but just to note that we still use, like, what's that, 8,376 tons.
Yeah.
That's not even like, continuously heavy.
Correct,
snow.
and that's actually run up against, and that's why this year we, used our allocated salt from the My Deal purchasing, so bulk purchasing to the state. We'll probably be able to get offered some few thousand more tons to finish out the year, so we're kind of good in that aspect, but we certainly don't like to not have the material we want. I kind of described it a little bit as, I want everybody to be able to treat the events as they see fit. I don't want to get to a point where we have to treat the events differently because we don't have enough material. So But nonetheless, these more mild winters where we get kind of the peaks in temperature, then it's gonna get cold the day after, our salt usage goes through the roof because, level of service we offer, we want to get our primary system, the state system, all the primary, routes are, so to speak, get those actually melting and to a point of even getting close to drying. Then we go into subdivisions and then obviously not salt wise, but then we still have the unpaved system that we try to work through. So yeah, salt specifically, we go through a ton of it these years. And I think we're to the point where probably have to make an evolutional change in our averages because our averages are based off of some of the levels of service we used to offer and where we used to use material differently in different units that we use to spread material. Now we can get more material out, but we also can get around the routes faster. So we're into subdivisions trying to melt the stuff before it becomes hard packed that we used to deal with. So that's kind of been the change. So I think we'll up our averages for next year, just give us a little bit more buying power in the moment. So we can guarantee we have more material for the season, but all in all, pretty good, but it does use a lot of salt. So.
Supposed to come up above 20 degrees midweek.
Yes, and even just the time of the year, we're basically mid-February, just the sun alone and us putting the grit abrasive, which are the small like pea stones with a little bit of brine or sometimes not even treated and dry, it's actually been melting the roads. So for example, we had a truck break down for something simple that we could fix, took a few hours, but last week on Jackson Road, they just had grit abrasive out there with some brine on it, no salt. And the truck came in, took a few hours to get service, the road cleared up on its own with just some sun. So that the radiant heat that we get this time of year, the sun becomes more potent. So we've kind of benefited from that. It's helped save us a lot of material. We don't like having the same material because we'd like to use it all the time, but also the sun has been helpful. But yes, the temperature is going to come up. We should be pretty good in the daytime. It looks like for the next 5-6 days. So I think we're in a good place there that we'll be able to get a little reprieve here. We got a lot of maintenance to do on the equipment, and then we'll carry on into some other actual normal road maintenance, probably by the end of next week. We'll certainly chase that cyclical pattern that we do with pothole patching on the paved roads here in the next couple of days, because the roads will start freeing up and you get some moisture and water running around there. We start to see potholes. So seeing some of those come up, but I think all in all, we should be pretty good here by the end of next week. So.
Commissioner McCollum.
I just want to thank the marketing team for letting everyone know. At least I see a lot on Facebook about the trucks are out, they're doing their thing. That map with where the trucks are,
Yep, the locations. Yeah.
I saw that several times and I've been sharing that. And I think that's so helpful to let people know about that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's really the communications team that helps with that. But back to the working session, we talked about AVL and how we wanted that to kind of write our story. That's the cameras are helping with that. These maps help with that. So the team is kind of empowered with that and they're able to put these good messages out. So they're good. They're comparable to other agencies that are much bigger and have much bigger teams than we do. So it's fun to see it. It's even nice for myself to kind of see it and just kind of sit back and see where things we've accomplished. So it's good for our people to see too. It's been a benefit all around.
Yes, excellent job.
Yep.
Commissioner Smers.
I just wanted to say that I've been doing a lot of driving the last couple of weeks for different meetings. And going through Washtenaw County, I've noticed a big difference in county to county. Washtenaw County is looking really good when it comes to snow removal. So you guys are doing a really good job.
Yeah, the team is taking a lot of the training we're offering and just using kind of the same mindset and same concept. We're not reinventing the wheel. We're just making sure all 48 to 50 trucks are trying to achieve the same thing about the same time. And that gives you that transparency kind of across through the whole county, whether it be a primary road, a state road, and even getting the unpaved system plowed off and the secondary system to us or our third system where, we work into the subdivisions. We've been able to be pretty successful here. So fingers crossed the equipment helps us. We certainly love the nice new stuff and sometimes it's a little glitchy, but all in all, we have good equipment, so we're able to do that. And we have really good people that are really driven and they've been responsive to be here. So that's kind of where it starts is with the humans that are actually driving the truck. So appreciate the compliment. I'll make sure they know.
Yes, thank you. And it's a credit to your team with a lot of pre-schedules and very thoughtfulness and ounce of prevention, really having the crews here ahead of the event and being able to treat as the weather's happening is a real big success story. I think they're doing a great job of.
Certainly easier to discuss why we were here in the moment than why we waited or chose a different path to take. So
Yes,
caution is good there.
yes, thank you.
All right, thank you guys.
All right, that concludes what we had to present.
Okay. I don't see any questions from the commissioners, so I will roll right on into reminders. February 27th is our Roads 101 program for township leaders here from 10 to noon, followed by lunch. On March 4th, we have our next regular board meeting. There's no working session that day. And March 5th at 5:30 PM, Washtenaw County Board of Road Commissioners, under the guidance of our managing director, will be reporting as it does annually to the Board of County Commissioners. Upcoming chat sessions, February 19th, Commissioner Green, that's tomorrow. February 26th, Commissioner Yamas. March 5th, Commissioner McCullum. And March 12th, I will be staffing chat that day. If there's no further business to come before the board, may I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Support.
Aaron, if you would, please.
Commissioner Gloria Yamas.
Yes.
Commissioner Joanne McCollum.
Yes.
Commissioner Jeff Smurs.
Yes.
And Commissioner Burkholder.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.